Hey guys, good afternoon. It is John C. Morley here, serial entrepreneur. It is great to be with you here on Inspirations for Your Life. Thanks so much for joining me in the middle of the afternoon, whether you're here at 2:35 p.m., 2:35 a.m., 4 a.m., 4 p.m., 12 noon, 12 midnight, makes no difference. Thank you so much for being here. Really do appreciate it. Check out my hat, believemeachieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations. Scan the QR code. And we got a great master topic this week, everyone. Well, here it is. The master topic for the week is understanding how our body relates and interprets with the environment. Series 3, which means we're in the third year, and show 24. And our granular topic for today is how the ear processes sound. Series 3, show 24, episode number 3. So let's start out from the very beginning. All right, everyone. And for those of you that are wondering there, sometimes our Instagram takes a few seconds. So welcome, everyone. Welcome our different stream locations, including Instagram, which I know usually comes on a few seconds later. We are on understanding how our body relates and interacts with the environment, Series 3, show 24. And today is episode number 3, how the ear processes sound. So how do we actually hear? I think that's really the question. So our ear is a pretty amazing organ. The sounds start by actually coming in through what they call the outer ear, through a very narrow canal there. We call that the ear canal, which leads to, yes, what we call the eardrum. The eardrum vibrates from the incoming sound waves, and then those, let's say, sounds, vibrations, are then sent to the three tiny bones in the middle of the ear. They're called the malleus, the incus, and the staples. The bone in the middle ear amplifies, increases the sound vibration, and sends them to the cochlea and the snail-shaped structure filled with the fluid in the inner ear. And the elastic partition runs from the beginning to the end of the cochlea, splitting it into an upper and lower part. Once the vibration causes the fluid inside the cochlea to ripple, a traveling wave forms along the basilar membrane, the hair cells, and the sensory cells sitting on the top of the basilar, membrane. And so what happens next is really, really cool. The hair cells near the wide end of the snail-shaped cochlea detect higher pitched sounds, such as an infant crying, and those closer to the center detect lower pitched sounds, such as large dogs barking. And so what happens next is absolutely amazing. The hair cells move up and down. These are microscopic hair-like projections known as stereocilia, and they perch on top of the hair cells. It's a bump against an overlying structure and the bend. And the bend causes the pore-like channels, which are at the top of the stereocilia, to open up. And when this happens, chemicals rush into the cells and create an electrical signal. That's pretty cool. Let me say that again. So the thing that's very, very important is to know that they vibrate, okay? And they cause the pore-like channels, again, the tips of the stereocilia, to open up, which then happens to cause the chemicals rushing in the cells, creating the electrical signal. The auditory nerve then carries the electrical signal to the brain, which turns into, you guessed it, a sound that we can recognize and understand. So that's the short journey, ladies and gentlemen, of how we hear. I don't know about you, but I was pretty impressed with that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So I'm not sure if it says you're trying to direct us to other channels. So Leo, I appreciate that, but so that would be considered inappropriate behavior. That's not proper to post links. So our moderator is just going to go ahead and block you from that. Again, coming to this place is here for those that want to learn. It's not for spammers. It's not for 2Os. It's not for those kind of things. That's not what this is for. Because we're here to help people. And in case you guys are wondering, a UTO is a shortening service, and and this let's say a person here is deciding to just paste a link in there. So we don't play like that, homie. Maybe you should listen to some of this content. It actually might do you some good. All right. By the way, we get a lot of our junk, just to let you know, we get a lot of our junk from Twitch. Now, we stream to lots of different platforms, but believe it or not, we don't get a lot of people on Twitch that are business savvy. We get a lot of people that are spammers and things like that. So I don't know, we might eventually break away from Twitch because I don't feel like, we really get high quality people from that channel. All right, guys. So we're talking a lot about hearing. So we know how we hear now, hopefully. And the important thing, ladies and gentlemen, is to clean out your ears daily. Yes, clean out your ears daily. So how do you clean out your ears? Well, it's not hard. You can, use some water, some soap. I typically use Q-tips. So people always ask me, is it safe to use Q-tips in your ears? Well, there's mixed thoughts about this. Using cotton swabs inside your ear can cause damage, impacted earwax, or infection. So if your ear feels plunged up, a healthcare professional may need to clean it for you. So the most important thing when you're using a Q-tip, again, and I'm not telling you have to use them, but if you're going to use a Q-tip, you got to make sure that you're doing it in a manner that is very light, no pressure. I mean, you're taking a little bit of warm water and you're just barely letting it you're letting it tussle kind of back and forth. Really, really easy. No pressure, no pushing it on the drum, just letting it rest there and just kind of twisting it gently and taking it out. That's it. I love to put warm water in my ears, especially in the shower, and then kind of let it in there and then kind of go the other side and put the water in again. So really, really important that you clean your ears out. Clean your ears out will not only help you hear, but it will also prevent you from getting any type of unnecessary infection. So that can actually help mitigate that. I remember a very long time ago, ladies and gentlemen, a quick story. My parents were actually putting on audition. And I believe I was in high school or just graduating high school. And I don't know what happened, but I had gotten a cold and I had just, did one of these jobs. I kind of like, don't do that. Because when you do that, it causes all the mucus to go way back up. And you know what can happen? If the mucus is, let's say, got any type of, germs in it, which could happen, that could get into your canal and bam, you could now have a clogged ear. And that's not fun. So I remember when this happened, and I was hoping it would go away, and it didn't. And so we had workmen at the house, doing all kinds of stuff. And so what would happen is every time they would take a hammer and they would bang it, my ear would open and then it would close. It would bang, would open it, and it would close. And so it was like enough to get it away, but then it didn't stay away. So this was a concern of mine. So my mom took me to a doctor, and they had this new type of medicine that was kind of experimental. So we gave it a try. Obviously, you didn't want to go for surgery or anything like that, but there was this experimental kind of medicine. And basically, you put, I think it was, 3 or 4 or 5 drops, whatever it was, every night before you went to sleep. And you laid on this ear. So if it was, I think it was my right ear. I'm trying to remember. It was either my right or left. I can't remember which one it was. But anyway, I would lay on the bed and they would put I think it was my right ear. And so we put the drops on. It was like day 1, nothing. Day 2, nothing. Day 3, nothing. All of a sudden, by like the end of the 3rd day or 4th day, it was like a miracle. My ear just suddenly just opened up on its own. And that was just like amazing. So the other thing I want to talk to you guys about, whether you're a teen, whether you're an adult, is you have to mind your ears with sound. So what I want to tell you is guard your ears from high noises. And this is very, very key. There are places people go to listen to music, unfortunately. So the question is, how loud is too loud for your ears in decibels? Well, this is a good question. Okay. How loud is too loud? Well, sounds can be as quiet as a whisper, and those as blaring as thundering, or like a jet plane engine. And we call them noise. And they're normal parts of our daily life. But not all sounds are equal. Some are friendly to our ears, while others can cause hearing loss over time. So a decibel is nothing more than a measurement for sound. A decibel scale shows a range of sounds and the corresponding decibels. So taking a look here at a chart that I have, knowing what decibel levels can harm you is important to know. So safe and unsafe decibel levels. So safe decibel levels are those that fall at or below 70 decibels. That includes things like whispers, 30 decibels, refrigerators are 40 decibels, and normal conversation is 60 decibels. Unsafe decibels of sound are those that measure above 70 decibels, noise-induced hearing, like things that can occur over time, such as common tools and products like landscaping equipment, 75 decibels, food processors, 95 decibels, motorcycles, 100 decibels, and sounds at or over 120 decibels, like fireworks and jackhammers, can do some serious damage very, very quickly. So again, a ticking watch, just to give you some kind of, let's say, a benchmark for this, is 20 decibels. Leaves rustling or whispering is 30 decibels. Okay. Average room noise is 30 to 50. Background music, 60. Average noise of an office, 70. Landscaping equipment from inside a house, 75 decibels. Inside an airplane or an electric vacuum, 80 decibels. City traffic from inside a car, noisy restaurants, 85 decibels. A hair dryer, 90 decibels. Food processors or DJing at a school dance crowd, 95 decibels. Approaching subway train, car horn at 16 feet, pro sports games, 95 to 100 decibels. Motorcycle automatic hand dryers, 100 decibels. 105 to 110, nightclubs and bars, gas-powered leaf blowers, ice cream trucks, trombones, dog barking in your ear, the ice cream truck, 110 decibels. Rock or pop concert sirens, 110 to 120 decibels. Jackhammer, 130 decibels. Jet engine from 100 yards away, 135 decibels. And gunshots, 140 decibels. So this is brought to us courtesy of the folks at here.com, who have been able to share with us some very important things. And so they say something that you can measure decibels using a sound level meter, which you can find as a smartphone app. And the CDC's National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health can help you measure the sounds around you to determine if they're safe or if your hearing is at risk. Remember, anything above 70 decibels can cause damage. If you're exposed to loud noise for too long, make sure before you're going to do that you protect your ears, putting distance between the sound, maybe getting these things so that they'll literally, you can, like I know I've gone to data centers, and the sounds in a data center are very, very loud. So you put these like these little styrofoam things in your ear, and they get rid of that noise. Okay. All right. So it's important, ladies and gentlemen, that you wear a helmet to protect your ears from injury. So you might be asking, hey, John, why? So why should you wear a helmet to protect your ears? Well, the thing is, you don't want to injure them inadvertently, right? And so by you wearing a helmet, that's a great way also preventing a type of accidents, whether you're skiing, whether you're biking. Of course, it could hurt your head and things too, but it can also damage your ears. And your ears are very, very sensitive, so you definitely want to take care of them. So I want to share something else with you. How many of you out there ever fly on a plane? I'm sure you have, right? And you know how you go up an altitude, and when you go up, your ears start to get pressure. And then, when the plane drops, your ears start to pop. But sometimes you want to pop your ears, but you can't pop yours. It's so hard. So I'm going to give you a couple things you can do to actually pop yours very easily. So one thing you can do is you can just be sitting relaxed in the, on the plane, and you literally can just be just relax, and um, you can just take your throat and just swallow. Just swallow a few times, and you'll feel the clicking in your ears, which actually helps to relieve the pressure. Another thing you can do that can help the pressure is you can turn your head to one side, pinch your nose, and swallow. That'll help. To the other side. Pretty cool, right? Did you know that it's important for you to wear sunscreen on your ears? Now, this is an interesting one. Probably saying, John, why do I need sunscreen on my ears? Well, because they can get skin poisoning, right? And your ears are very sensitive. So when you apply sunscreen on your ears, or I use the spray a lot, okay, is the back of the ear, so also the front of the ear, your ears can burn very easily. So you want to make sure that you have protection on your ears. Ears are very delicate parts of the body, and the skin of them is thinner than other areas. And so it's important that you do this so you don't get ear cancer. That is very important. So how do you properly apply sunscreen around the ears? So one hand, you can use a fingertip to apply it to the, let's say to the tops, okay, just like so, and the lobes. I usually go a little bit, not in the ear, but I usually go in here. But I don't go in the actual canal, but I do go to all the parts that the sun could see, and the back of the ear. And then you reapply the sunscreen every 2 hours. If you should happen to get any type of sunburned ears and you forgot to put on sunscreen, you can use over-the-counter medications, moisturizers, things of that nature. So we really have to just be thoughtful of our ears. I think that's probably the most important thing. So the last thing I want to talk about today is recognizing signs of hearing loss. Do you know how to recognize signs of hearing loss? So if you take care of your ears, okay, they will take care of you. So rule of thumb, you don't need to listen to a song so everyone in the neighborhood can hear you. You should be able to listen to things in a way that is complimentary but not going to hurt you. So you'll notice for a long time, ladies and gentlemen, I actually wear my headphones, as you know, so I can talk to control and things like that. But you'll notice on the one side, I leave it away from my ear a little bit. You're probably saying, why am I doing that? Okay, so when you put your earphones on, regardless of the quality of the earphones, they have a tendency of giving us the perception that, you know, we're not able to have other people hear, but they can hear us. So when you have your ears covered, you want to overcompensate for the fact that you can't hear, so you talk louder, but you're talking louder in the mic, you're causing distortion, and you keep doing that for a while, you're going to become deaf. I learned this several years ago because when I had started podcasting and radio announcing and stuff, you know, when you're doing it, you don't realize it. So what I want to share with you is if you do any kind of voiceover, you do any type of podcasting, just have one ear open so you can listen and hear a little bit and know that you don't have to talk very loudly. That is really, really important, ladies and gentlemen. So your ears are very important. And the last thing I want to share with you is how do our ears protect us from environment dangers? How do they protect us from environment dangers? Well, I think we have to be the ones that are protecting. They don't do anything directly. Our ears don't shut down. But here's another little fact. Did you know our ears control our balance? I bet you didn't know that. Our ears control our balance. It's actually our inner ear that controls it, and it's called the peripheral vestibular system. It includes the organ of the inner ear, known as a labyrinth, which contains two primary structures: the cochlea, responsible for hearing, and the vestibular apparatus, responsible for maintaining balance, stability, and spatial orientation. It's important to understand that our ear is responsible for this. And so just knowing that your ears are really amazing. So just like we take care of other organs of the body, we need to make sure we take care of our ears. We take care of our ears, we'll be able to hear for many, many years, where other people will be deaf. And the question people always ask me, John, is how do you know when somebody, how can you detect hearing loss? So there are a couple ways, but when people say to me, John, how do you detect hearing loss? And it's not hard. The first one is, are you constantly having to repeat yourself because you claim to not being able to hear something, or somebody has to keep repeating themselves and said, I just told you that, right? There are different types of tests you can do for hearing loss. You should be able to hear small decibels up to the acceptable level. The thing about hearing is that when we make a decision to hear very well, our ears are present, okay? There are lots of causes for hearing loss, in case you're wondering. Being around loud noises too long, and often at work. So if somebody is not respecting you by blasting music and they don't listen to you, then maybe it's time to leave that environment. Mowing the lawn or using power tools, shooting guns or other weapons, loud music, both live and recorded. Whenever I go skeet shooting, I always put the protection in my ears, the little wax things. Too much earwax can cause a problem. Okay, so I use it's like this little, it's not really wax. It's like it's really like a foam. You put it in, and then if you have an infection, taking drugs, or problems with hearing that run in the family. So I know when I had a hearing test many, many years ago, being able to hear those very small sounds all the way up to the larger tones. And so just realize that your ears will do more for you if you will just cooperate and respect them, because vibrations are an amazing harmony and a miracle in themselves. And why waste our beautiful eardrums on sounds that are going to harm or hurt them? Ladies and gentlemen, it's always a privilege and pleasure. But before I do go, I want you to do take heed to everything we talked about today, which is we talked about things like some very, very important things. The last thing we talked about, obviously, was about recognizing hearing loss, right? We talked about that. But I think the most important thing is just knowing our ears are here for us and we have to respect them. We talked about how do you hear. We talked about the importance of cleaning out your ears, how to do it safely. Don't jab things in your ear, okay? Guard your ears from loud noises, loud decibels. Wear a helmet. And we talked about air pressure, how you can relieve that air pressure. Use sunscreen on your ears and recognize signs of hearing loss. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It's been a privilege, a pleasure, and of course, an honor to be with you this fantastic, amazing afternoon. I hope you'll like, love, support the channel, comment below, tag your friends, colleagues, and associates, share this out with everyone you know on social media. And ladies and gentlemen, I will be back tomorrow. But in the meantime, do go to believemeachieve.com, do scan the QR code, and make the choice, ladies and gentlemen. Help me out, and even subscribe on all the great channels that I have, including TikTok. So we can eventually stream there live. Have yourself a fantastic rest of your day, everyone. I'll catch you guys tomorrow with another Inspirations for Your Life topic that I know you won't want to wait to miss.